Hello, my name is Judy Davis. Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words about my article, The Golden Pig, The Reflecting Process in Teaching Family Therapy. Actually, this article is a little piece of theater. It's a demonstration of a way of teaching family therapy in which the reader can hear the therapist learning and the client making meaning of the therapist learning. It's a dialogical approach based on the work of Tom Anderson, Michael White, Lynn Hoffman, among others. For many years, I was on the staff of the Counseling Center at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. There, I had the privilege of teaching the family therapy module to the psychology graduate students who were doing their final year of internship at the Counseling Center. These were young practitioners about to start their professional careers with almost no training in relational concepts, no classes in family therapy. So there was a lot of information that had to be collapsed into a short amount of time. And what evolved was a way of modeling rather than lecturing about the core narrative and collaborative ideas that I wanted to teach. We met once a week for 2 hours, and each week on a rotating schedule, each therapist would present a case, and then they would sit back as if behind a one-way mirror. And the rest of us, myself and the other interns, would have a conversation, a reflecting conversation about what we had just heard. We would be speaking about what touched us personally, professionally, theoretically, poetically. You get the picture. What was unusual about this is that this reflecting conversation was videotaped, and that tape was available for the therapist to bring back to the client who was waiting for feedback. What was important was that none of the conversation, none of the talk was anything that the client couldn't hear. In fact, I was deliberately trying to model a stance of listening from a position of resourcefulness and possibility rather than looking for dysfunction and despair. So that was what we did the first semester. Second semester, I encouraged the students to bring in one of their clients, and then I interviewed the therapist in the presence of the client about their work together over the semester. Once that conversation was over, the client and therapist would switch places with the other interns who were sitting at the far end of the room listening in. Then they and I would have a conversation about what we had just heard. And finally, the last switch, the therapist and client came back, and we had a final conversation in which they spoke about what was most resonant and relevant from their positions. As this was the last week, it was about to be the last week, I invited my own teacher and good friend, Lynn Hoffman, to join in the reflecting conversations. This was obviously a gift to my students and a gift to myself. Not surprisingly, what emerged was a rhetorical fugue that was beautiful, powerful, actually almost magical. In fact, Lynn offered to come back the following week when we were going to discuss the whole event, the whole experience. We would wrap up the year. And it was during this last processing that a ritual emerged, totally unexpected, and a beautiful ritual of it was a rite of transition, of intergenerational blessings. Frankly, it blew us away, and I hope that you'll enjoy reading about it. And by the way, here's the pig that is in the ritual that is talked about, and of course is in the title. Thanks very much.